Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Mourinho Challenge. We're still at Juventus. We've made it to the end of the season. We turned things around a little bit at the end of the season, actually. Got into a bit of form. Ended up finishing second in the league, which is, quite the turnaround from when we were last together. Before we get started though, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel. And of course, I will get cracking. I am a little bit ill today, so sorry if I sound horrific. It's hay fever. I hate hay fever, but I have hay fever. So there you go. With that said, there's not much else to show you, really. So in the league, yeah, like I say, it's kind of been a case that we managed to get to the Italian Cup semi-final, unfortunately losing out to Lazio in that one. We played them over 2 legs, ended up 1-1 in the first leg, 2-1 in the second, which is a bit of a shame, really. And we also got to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, but lost to Chelsea in that one. So it wasn't ideal, not great when it comes to European competition, cup competitions in general, and no trophies this season, which is a shame because we really needed to get a couple. But I'm hoping next season it will be a different story altogether. We'll have a few more to get stuck in with. We'll have the Champions League as well. So we will see how things go. Now, tactics-wise, we've been using the 4-1-4-1, and I think that is pretty. We're going to stick with it because that's exactly what's been working for us recently. I think it's just maybe organising the team a little bit. We've got a couple of players in here like Thiago, Coelho, and obviously Joe Ma as well in there, who are all kind of deeper midfielders. And I need to decide who I want to keep and who we're going to get rid of. A couple of loanies that will probably be going. I mean, although I want to try and keep hold of Jose Mourinhos, who has been banging in the goals for us. And he's been very, very good. So we'll see if we can kind of keep hold of him. We obviously had him at Barca. So we know how good he can be. Araujo is getting on a bit now, 38. So probably will be more of the backup. Although still wanted by Chelsea or Milan. So that's, it's quite impressive, really, that he's still wanted. But yeah, Raul Rangel and Nada are 2 centre halves that have been. Don't want to click him again. Who've just been so good this season. Nada was a little bit iffy at the start, but he kind of got into the flow of things, and you can just see he's so good. 20 years old, 21 caps for Italy. Solid as a rock. Now, what we will do, I don't think there's been any transfers to update you on. Have I told you about Edward coming in? I can't remember. Edouard Nang will be joining us at the end of the season. I got a bit excited, I think, and then I remembered that we're only here for 1 more season before we'll have to move on anyway. But with that, we'll jump ahead to the season review, take a look at what the board thought, and what our plans are going forward to next season. Here we are then. Juventus, end of season review. No trophies to speak of this year, unfortunately, so no lovely gold confetti in the background. But it was kind of a rebuild year for Juventus. A lot of players were retiring, De Ligt being one, Donnarumma as well. So we had to try and make a team out of what we had. We spent quite a bit of money, I'll be honest. Tony Escobar, we spent £101 million on. Was he worth it? Well, I think there's time to tell still. They all performed pretty well. Araujo was coming in before we joined, but we've obviously got experience with him. Alphonso Davies as well. For 6.5 million, I think he was a great signing. Yeah, he's getting on a bit, but I think, just for the 14 assists and 7 goals, you can't go wrong. Alexandre Luiz, again, maybe could have played a few more games for us, but I think he'll come good. Madsen as well, a goalkeeper. We just needed to bring someone in at the end of the day. Goalkeepers are just ridiculously expensive at this stage in Football Manager. Then a couple of loanies that I think did very, very well as well. Svenka, I think, was incredible. And Xavi Rene, I thought, was very, very good. We did have to pay 12.25 million to bring him in for the season, but he was very good for the season. We did have him. Obviously, there were a few sales and stuff, but nothing really to note. The biggest one, Jim Zeman, maybe going, and Ravella off to Inter. But again, I don't think we lost out really on that one, and loans doesn't really matter. We can ignore that effectively. Looking at the season though, like I say, it started off not awful. but not good. A loss to Inter Milan, Torino in the first 2 games, then a couple of draws, kind of gave us a slow start to the season. Things changed around against Napoli with a 4-0 win, and that kind of allowed us to start getting into a bit of a rhythm. We had a fantastic run in the middle of the year, December, January time, leading into February as well, before a loss to AC Milan, and another good run where we had a good bit of form, then a loss to Sampdoria before a 2-0 win against Roma at the end. So did end up finishing second. Inter Milan absolutely ran away with the league in the end, but I think next season could be different. Feeling positive about it. Europa League, a little bit disappointed. I mean, ending up facing Chelsea, who's got one hell of a squad. I mean, just look at that. It's friggin' ridiculous how good that is. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. So, yeah, unfortunately knocked out in that one. Lost to Lazio in the semi-finals after beating both Fiorentina and into Milan. So it wasn't an easy run. And then getting Lazio, I think we did all right to get to the semis. And then it's frustrating. Losing to Lazio in the final of the Italian Super Cup. Again, disappointing, really, I have to say. Moment, 6-0 win against Cagliari. Rene, Porro and Davis all getting 2 goals there. So 2 fullbacks getting 2 goals each, and then Rene getting a couple. Match to remember was the 5-0 smashing of Sassuolo, who had 2 players sent off during that game. But yeah, Tito, Rene, Demir, Foden and Porro. I was going to say Tito's not one of our players. Own goal. And goal of the season went to Escobar against Serramonese. So there you go. Money-wise, there were losses across the board, effectively. Did bring in a couple of bits of money. I can't, Jomar, I was going to say, I can't actually read those. So Escobar, Niada, yeah, Yusuf Demir and Foden. Yeah, I get that. I mean, Jamal hasn't really done too much this season, so it's a bit of a surprise, but there you go. Each to their own, as they say. But yeah, this is the formation we've been using for the kind of the second half of the season where we started to pick up a bit of form. And yeah, Porro, Sangris, Araujo, Rangel at the back, Majsen, Jomar, Davis, Alexander Luiz, Escobar, Yusuf Demir and Rene. Makes sense. I really would like to keep Javi Rene at this stage because I think we do need a striker. And he's been banging in the goals and he's kind of got into a bit of form now, so that's good. Matthews de Ligt obviously retired, but he did retire as the most league appearances, 589. And Pedro Porro got man of the match awards in a season. He is 37, so we'll see if he sticks around next year. We might be ready for another exodus of players because there's a few players over the age of 35 who might be looking to leave the footballing world for a bit. But fans player of the season was Pedro Porro. Young player was Niada, as you'd probably expect. Signing was our goalkeeper that was brought in, Madsen. That's interesting. Tony Escobar got goal of the season, as we saw. Javi Rene scored 26 goals. Phil Foden with 16 assists and a good average rating for Raul Rangel as well. Serie A player of the year was Pedro Porro. That's good. That's a lot better than I thought. Maybe that'll tempt him to stay. An exemplary career Serie A player of the year. Fuck knows what that is. I don't think I've ever seen that. What is an exemplary career Serie A player of the year? Does that mean his career's been very good and he did all right this season? I don't really know. But with that, we will leave it there for with regards to things. I think next season, we'll have to certainly look at a few players. Let me just clear this squad. Obviously, we'll be losing a couple of players because they're on loan. We'll see if we can bring in Javi Rene again. I think Ganietto might not be around with us. There's a few other players that aren't. There's a cat. There's a few other players who we might either move on or we'll have to see what happens with them. Because, I mean, like I say, we've got Araujo, who's 38, Porro, who's 37, Foden, Davis, who are both 36, and Yusuf Demir is 33. So it wouldn't surprise me as at least 2 of those retire. So it might be, again, another season where we're having to try and rebuild a little bit. And I only brought in Alphonso Davis, so I hope he doesn't retire, because that'd be really annoying. But it will also make next season a little bit tough as well to start with. But hopefully we'll be able to get because we've got the core still there, and they kind of understand how we're going to play next season, it should be okay. But with that, we will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think of next season. Do you think we'll do all right? Do you think we'll be able to have a go? We'll see who we bring in and all that stuff. But with that, we'll catch you then. See you in the next one.